is in the air. Is this the beginning of World War III? This video is all about the War of the Words, or Words of War. We use words every day without realizing what they mean, or rather, what they used to mean in the past.
Inconceivable! You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Practically every word we use has an interesting history, a fascinating origin, and learning the origin and etymology of words can be fun. Sometimes the insight can be profound. Other times it's just trivia that scratches our curiosity itch and makes us say,
"Ah, that's neat. I never realized that was connected to that word. That's cool."
Sometimes we need that. For example, take the word infantry, the group of soldiers who do the ground fighting. Infantry is clearly from the word infant. But why? Infant means newborn or the young, and it's the young who do the ground fighting most of the time. But specifically, infant means one who does not speak. In means not, or the opposite of, and fons comes from the Latin fare, to say, to speak. And it is from fare we get the words fame, fable, fate. They're all related to speaking. Fate is that which was foretold. So an infantry soldier is one who does not speak, who does not give orders, but simply shuts up and takes orders.
So he'd tell us to get down, shut up.
Get down! Shut up!
Now there are tons of words related to the military or war that we use every day that have interesting origins or little nuggets of interest locked inside them. Some of these words are exclusively used for war, while others are everyday words that originated in war. I'll just spend a little time on each and then move on quickly. There will be a few videos of war words. This is just the first of many, a foundational video of basic terms. Let's start with the basics. Battle and war. Battle goes back to the Latin battuere, which means to beat. Not that kind of beat. In baseball, the batter beats the ball with a bat and hopefully gets a home run for this battle. Battle is where we get the word battalion, clearly, and a battalion is made up of companies and is part of a regiment. Company comes from companion, one who you break bread with, eat bread with, panis. Regiment comes from the Latin regimental, which means rule, because a regiment of troops should be kept in line by rules and discipline. Troops go back to the Latin tropus, a herd, as in a herd of cattle. I think I heard that from the grapevine. Which incidentally is a saying that dates back to the American Civil War, because the telegraph lines were so crudely strung up between trees at one point that they looked like looping grapevines. A herd of soldiers is also formed into squads, which comes from the Italian squadra, which means square, a kind of battle formation. One may win some battles but lose the war. When married couples battle, you could call it a kind of war, because war goes back to the old High German word Wehren, and this means quarrel or embroil. Now, if you married a woman named Hilda, there might be some war in the household because Hilda is Old High German for battle maid. Her sister Matilda means mighty in battle. Putting marital battles aside, anything pertaining to the military or warfare is described as martial. This is from the medieval Latin martialis, of war, of Mars. The Roman god of war was Mars. A planet was named after this god, and the little green men from Mars were Martians. From martial, we also get the term court-martial, martial law, and martial arts. Some warfare is irregular in that it doesn't engage the enemy in the typical way, but consists of small skirmishes and sabotage. This is called guerrilla warfare with guerrilla soldiers. Guerrilla is Spanish for little war. Guerre is French for war. A military is made up of soldiers of various ranks and titles. Soldier is from the medieval Latin solidarius, which stems from solidus. A solidus is literally a gold coin. So a soldier is simply one having pay. Costs a lot of money to raise an army and pay mercenaries.
Maintain discipline.
I'm not a soldier, Major. The day we took hostages, we became mercenaries, and mercenaries get paid. I want my money!
So soldiers come in various ranks and positions. If you are deprived of any rank or office, you are a private, from the Latin privo, deprived.
What is your name, soldier?
Speedy Riker.
No, your name is Private Idiot.
Another low rank is a cadet. Ultimately, this word is from the Latin word caput, meaning head, and the diminutive form, capitellum, little head. Eventually, it found its way into French as cadet, and the meaning became more like younger son or officer. Cadet is where we get the name caddy, as in a golf caddy, which was a young boy who hung around to carry other people's bags or golf clubs. Basically, a kind of servant.
Mr. Gilmore, I'm your caddy.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. No.
In some higher class settings, such as Oxford, a caddy was looked down upon and was called a cad out of contempt. A cad in American slang was a scoundrel, someone dishonest, or who behaves badly to women.
Maybe, when you aren't acting like a scoundrel.
Scoundrel. Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.
Now, if you are generally in charge of all the soldiers, you are a general, which comes from the Latin genus, meaning race or kind, and the word generalis, which means belonging to the whole race and kind. And therefore, a general is in charge of every soldier on the land, that is. The rank who is in charge of every soldier on the sea is an admiral. This word originally came from the Arabic. An emir was a Saracen chief back around the time of the various crusades. Saracen was just another term in Europe for Muslim. An admiral was Amir al-Bahr, the commander or chief of the sea. The beginning two words were taken into French as amiral, because in Old French a was the same as the Latin ad. The word became admiral, and then passed into the English Navy as early as the 13th century.
The Supreme Leader of the North African Republic of Wadiya, Admiral General Aladdin.
The military has the rank of corporal, often the lowest ranking non-commissioned officer. Ultimately, corporal is from the Italian capo, which means head, a head man that does lead some under him, usually a bunch of privates. These privates might belong to a body, the Marine Corps. Corps is from the Latin corpus, which means body. A sergeant is from the Latin serviens, which means serving, and thus a sergeant is a serving man. He doesn't serve food, but he serves the orders of his superiors.
What's your sole purpose in this army?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
Yes, drill sergeant.
A lieutenant is from the two words lieu and tenant. Lieu means place of, in lieu of, and tenant means holding, from the Latin tenere, to hold, tenacious, to hold. I'll take a subscribe in lieu of a like. Thus, a lieutenant holds the place of another. Major obviously means greater, greater than a captain, but not greater than a colonel. Why isn't it spelled colonel? Where's the R? The word goes back to the Latin word for pillar, namely columna, which is colonnello in Italian. A colonel is the pillar of a regiment. Now, armies wage military campaigns, or organized military operations, against their enemies. Battles, historically speaking, took place in fields. Field in Latin is campus, thus campaign. A field is often where a military would set up camp as well. On a side note, champagne is a sparkling wine from the province in France called Champagne. The French took campaign, field, added in an H to distinguish these fields because they had rolling hills. Oh yeah, and our word champion also came from campaign, or field, because a champion was victorious on the field of battle, or in the field of sports. A type of campaign is when an army lays siege to a city, or besiege. A siege is a prolonged military operation in which an attacking force surrounds and isolates a fortified place, such as a city or a castle or a fort, in order to cut off the supplies and force the defenders to surrender. Siege is Old French for seat or throne. So a siege is when an army sits, as it were, outside of a city. Siege with the prefix besiege, simply means to sit by. Now, when an army or enemy force is destroyed, we say it was decimated. We mean that a very large portion was annihilated. However, technically speaking, decimate literally means that exactly 1/10 was destroyed. Decim in Latin is 10. Decimo, take a tenth. The term decimare was originally used in the context of an ancient Roman military punishment. In the Roman army, when a unit was found guilty of serious offenses or misconduct or mutiny, it was often punished by ordering 1 out of every 10 soldiers to be executed. And over time, the term decimate evolved and expanded to mean the act of severely reducing or destroying or harming a large portion of something. If you learned some interesting tidbits of word trivia, please like this video, comment down below what word you found the most interesting, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. You'll be surprised how some everyday words have military origins and meanings long forgotten. Now you're wise to the words.